3 minutes we'll never get back. But look at it this way, we'll never have to hear that again.
We won't keep you waiting. We are about to present the televotes. Those are the votes from you watching at home. And you have the exact same amount of points to give out as the juries.
All of your points at home from each and every country have been added together and we'll present them from the lowest to the highest.
12 points from the Polish jury go to Australia! Yeah!
Australia, 12 points!
Wszystkiego dobrego.
Oh, for God's sake, I hate this! I don't understand why everybody all ever votes for themselves. They never give us points. It's almost as if everyone in Europe hates us or something. I mean, what are we doing wrong? We're lower than the table than the Aussies, and they're not even supposed to be here. Serves you right, you bloody drongos. And keep your voice down, mate. The Russians will be able to hear you. Oh, great. The Germans are looking over this way. Don't look at them. Don't look. Hey, Britain! Enjoy your Brexit out of here, yeah? That's it, I've had enough. I'm going home.
Eurovision is one of those, like, just unique things. It is pure entertainment. It's just an absolute circus. It's like the rest of the world probably look at it and go, what the hell is this? But that's exactly what we think.
That's the thing, it's quite the collection of continental oddballs. I mean, I look at it and every year there's always a contestant that'll come up and I think, what the hell is this? Like, people actually find this entertaining.
Yeah, it's just that pure spectacle in it. It's like, it never fails to surprise whatever goes on. And you always remember them as well, the standout ones. Like, when we watch this, there's a hell of a lot of cameos in it. And even though I've only watched it a couple of times, there was quite a few people I actually recognised because you just don't forget them. The only reason I haven't watched it a lot is because after a few times of watching it, you start to realise nobody votes for England.
I think it's obvious that nobody likes us, and I think it's fairly obvious that a lot of Britain doesn't like anybody else. No, thanks to the last few years anyway.
They even make that joke in this film, which I was glad they put in, about...
Yeah, but not enough
Britain,
times though.
No,
you should have put loads in there. I wanted to see like a British act like in tears in the corner or something like that with nobody liking them, like in the green room, like everybody's spitting on them.
Everyone
or something.
just sits away from them. They're just like on their own.
Yeah, they should have just left them like crying in the corner with like a cocktail glass in their hand because they got no points. That would have been amazing.
This is Eurovision.
I think with this, there's a lot of different things they wanted to throw in, but then they end up just being a one-liner. They don't really go anywhere. They do the same thing where he keeps insulting the Americans, so they find some American tourists. And the Americans don't do anything. They're not being obnoxious or anything, but he seems to insult them anyway. And it just seems like a throwaway joke. It's like they put it in, but then they put it in again, and it's like, but they don't flesh it out. They don't go anywhere with it.
It seemed forced. I wasn't a big fan of that one. I thought if they were going to do it, considering it's an American publication, they'd actually go in hard on it and actually show some obnoxious Americans that is the stereotype from most European people. But instead, the Americans that we get on camera don't even do anything particularly obnoxious. They kind of interrupt somebody, and that's about it.
It's a stereotype that we don't want them around because they're loud and obnoxious, but they weren't even being
Yeah,
that.
but
so it's like, the joke doesn't work.
The most obnoxious and loud person in the entire film was Will Ferrell.
Fire Saga is in! Fire Saga is in!
Overall, I did like the film, but for me, I'm a big fan of the underdog story where, you know, it's really inspiring seeing them finally make it at the end. But Will Ferrell's character, I didn't want to see him succeed at all through the whole thing. I feel like I don't mind him in some stuff. Some stuff he's good in. Some stuff he's kind of obnoxious and a bit annoying. In this, he wasn't that obnoxious. He was okay. But I feel like the film could have gone ahead without him. You would have just had Rachel McAdams, who was amazing in it. They write her character's really good and really nice all the way through, and she's a really likeable actress. So Will Ferrell's kind of just, you don't root for him. You just don't like him through the whole film. And then when it's obviously, you know, they get together at the end, it's one of those, you don't want that. I didn't want that when I watched it.
I didn't think it was actually going to happen. I thought they've made so many incest jokes all the way through and about how the entire town is related because Lars's dad is fathered half the time, which is played by the fantastic Pierce Brosnan, who I didn't really think much of his performance in general, but my God, he looks good for his age. Oh my goodness.
Extremely handsome father.
He looked good, but I think he was alright. This is what I was saying about Will Ferrell. I think he was the weakest one in the film, because all of the other actors are absolutely hilarious. Even the ones who get like 1 or 2 lines, they really stand out. And I cracked up every time. Just like Olaf, who just like randomly shouts,
Hey Lars! Get back in there right now and play Ya Ya Ding Dong! No, we are done for tonight. You have to play it! Why do I have to play it? I already played it. I don't care! You have to play it again!
I was impressed with the bit parts that
Yeah.
some people had. I mean, Pierce Brosnan's accent sounded like...
Oh, yeah.
It was just like the most half-assed Swedish kind of hurdy-gurdy kind of like accent, whereas everybody else was like proper going for their accents.
Well, they did cast a lot of Icelandic people, which I was glad about. They had some good actors in there. There's a couple of people I recognised from Fortitude as well, which was nice.
As for performance and everything, I mean, you only get to see them perform a few times as like a group, but as the film progresses, it becomes more obvious that Sigrid kind of develops as a character. She doesn't do a whole lot of developing, but I mean, she starts out being kind of this innocent, pure, I'll do everything you do, Lars, kind of thing, like it's all for you. And then she actually has like a few hiccups throughout the journey of the film, and then by the end of it, she's like an actual performer on her own by the time the film
really
climaxes. Meanwhile, Lars is just kind of like a dick for most of it. I understand that the beginning, he's supposed to be like this kind of overego, small town.
Wants to be famous.
He wants to be famous, he wants to be the biggest thing forever, but then as soon as it progresses and they get like more resources to the act and stuff, he just kind of takes it all the wrong way. And I don't really feel like he learns his lesson at any point throughout the film. Like towards the end, I actually thought that Lars was a dick.
Lars, I have never asked you for anything ever. But I am asking you to do this for me.
And I am asking you to go. Come on. Please, you're being very selfish right now.
He was more of a dick than the antagonist was. Sorry, antagonist.
Yeah, I feel like with him, he doesn't. Here's the thing: he doesn't learn anything throughout the film. He makes all the same mistakes, and there's no romantic moments with him either. For them to set up the romantic plot of him at the end with them getting together, because he doesn't do anything nice for her in the whole film.
What is this?
It is a costume I made.
Well, it's bad.
Well, maybe if you were more focused and not out dancing all night, you might feel better about it.
Oh.
It's true.
Other than that one bit at the end when they finally sing a song together. But even then, I'm like, that's not enough for him to be...
It doesn't make up for it, for the stuff that he's done.
They don't sew it in early. There's no them hanging out as kids or anything. They do show the one scene at the start, but then they don't show anything again. But they don't interact in that scene. She's dancing over here and he's dancing in front of the TV. So it's like there's no actual interaction between these kids or any nice memories from them growing up. They don't show any of it. They have that bit where he doesn't sleep with the woman who's trying to come on to him. I think the Greece contestant. But we don't see that. We just hear it from her side, so we don't see Lars say that, so we don't feel any emotional anything from him. I feel like he's very underdeveloped as a character. They try and do the thing with his dad, like his dad's not proud of him, so he wants to, kind of like a Zoolander thing, like he wants to prove himself at the end. But then I don't feel like there was any emotional weight to when he finally did talk to his dad at the end. I wasn't like, yeah, you go, you know what I mean? There was nothing to it.
The character of Lars and having him as a lead, to me, felt like kind of a Saturday Night Live character that Will Ferrell had wrote and kept in the pipeline for a long time. And when it came to doing a film, he just kind of thought, this is what I've got, and he hasn't really gave it the full
and I think
flesh out.
By the time he finished the film, that character no longer really fits in with the humour in the film. Every part of humour that is part of his bit, I didn't find that funny.
Yeah, the jokes got really surreal. At the start, it was kind of small town, Icelandic kind of, oh, we're all kooky and it's nothing to do here, it's shit, there's nothing going on. And then, you know, there's elf murders and ghosts.
That's what I mean. His part was, there's not many surreal moments in the film, but when there are, they're kind of like few and in between. But when you only do that a couple of times, it just doesn't make any sense. It just feels like, oh, okay then. It was just weird. It comes off as weird and not funny. And I think a lot of his humour in it, just didn't work. Like, it's all a lot of physical humour as well, like him falling over, or like when he falls off a boat, or when he like falls off a...
That's Ferrell though, it's peak Will Ferrell humour. I mean,
but it doesn't fit in with the rest of the humour that I thought was hilarious in the rest of the film.
That's what I mean. I don't know if it's actually a Eurovision film or if it's a Will Ferrell film moonlighting as a Eurovision film, if you get me. You know, there's like a couple, like they have two big performances and there's huge slapstick gags that happen, and then you've got those kind of small improv moments that Will Ferrell must like insist on having his film, like you know, where's the exit to the boat? Come here. Where's the exit to the boat? I don't see an exit to the boat. And he runs around the boat looking for an exit, and I'm just kind of sat there like, oh. What do you think of Dan Stevens as Alexander Lemtov?
I love Dan Stevens. I loved him in The Guest, and it's great to see him in such a different role. I think he could really do comedy.
So these are ancient Greek statues?
Yes, of course. That was my question too. Yes.
Because I was thinking that their faces kind of look like yours.
Maybe you're right. It's uncanny.
Yes.
It's uncanny.
Very, very handsome.
Have you
That's crazy. Come, I'll show you a party.
In The Guest, I felt like he really had some good comedy moments in it. I think he can really move between genres quite well, and then this film I thought was pretty funny anyway. Some people might see it as like kind of a hokey Russian accent for his character as the Russian entrant.
He pulls it off. I think his dedication, like you could tell he fully went for it, which is great.
Hit me back. Very light, like silky kitty fish in marshmallow boxing glove.
That's the thing. I thought they were setting him up to be like the antagonist who was going to set them against each other so that they don't win Eurovision. But then that wasn't at all what it was, really. He just turned in, he was just kind of all right. He wasn't...
He was really kind.
He was nice. I liked him by the end. I was like, oh, he's a nice character.
So by the time I realised what kind of character he was, the biggest shock for me was the disguising of this film being a Eurovision comedy to it was actually just a feel-good film.
Yeah, I think even when he wrote it, I think he realised there was no antagonist in the film. The whole film, it's like they throw in the I don't know if it's like the mayor of Iceland or he like runs Iceland. I don't know what they have. The Icelandic actor. They throw him in halfway through. And then he just kind of backstabs Will Ferrell.
Oh, the
That's what I'm saying.
The Icelandic bank man. He's like the president of the banks or something. I couldn't really understand what was going on. It was very quick.
I could tell he was a really famous. I could tell he was a famous actor. That's what I could tell by looking at him. I was like, I don't know you, but I know you're somebody.
His character's like super off throughout the film, and like when Iceland succeeds he seems sad, and then he tries to give Lars a lift to the airport to get back to the contest, but then he like tries to murder him and explains his motive like
up until that
in
point.
less than 10 seconds while screaming while trying to strangle him, and then that's it, that's done.
Then and then he gets killed, and then he's out of the film, and that was that antagonist.
That was the antagonist, which just kind of like took me by surprise. I was just kind of like, whoa.
It felt like they needed one. They remembered they need one in a film. You can't just have everything goes fine film. So they thought, let's throw him in. Try and ruin the competition, but it just didn't work. It was like
I was just in it for the music, though. I just wanted to hear the music.
That's the thing. The film works pretty well just without that because it didn't add anything to the film.
What did you think about the music?
I like the music. My one thing is I don't think it was very memorable, but I think I did enjoy it watching it. I thought it was really funny.
I found it believable. I felt like some of the songs actually could do well.
They felt like proper Eurovision songs, didn't they?
The Icelandic songs, I thought sounded really good. Like even the beginning one, they don't even touch back to again. But even the very first song, as soon as you start the film, I thought I was getting into the whole idea of Eurovision. You know, you take it with a pinch of salt. It's eccentric. It's huge costumes and kind of flamboyance, and they throw in their own little comedy lyrics here and there, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I've like all of the contestants I heard so far, I enjoyed it. The one thing that kind of threw me off is like right in the middle of the film, they have the song along. They called it a song along. It's not a sing along. It's a song along of multiple songs where like the film has this massive victory parade of like all previous Eurovision Song Contest entrants and like characters in the film who are actually entrants all singing like covers of songs that kind of harmonize together, and it goes on for like 3 minutes with the sweeping camera angles. It felt like it was shot by the people who do the opening sequences to Eurovision Song Contest. You know, when they bring out an act and they kind of mask it with like kind of people running around whatever country it's set in and like having a lovely time.
Oh, right, yeah.
It felt like it was shot like that, which kind of took me. I know it's a Eurovision film, but it took me out the film. I couldn't figure out
that
how.
was the one scene that I felt like was made for the people who are the fans of Eurovision. True Eurovision fans would have loved that scene because it's the one scene you can cram in every cameo you want from all the Eurovision. That was the one scene that was made for them.
I guess so.
That's probably why.
I retract my statement.
But that's probably why it stood out. It's because the rest of the film isn't made for hardcore Eurovision fans, I wouldn't say. Because one of my favourite things from Eurovision is the hilarious presenters. And like they have Graham Norton there, but they don't use him enough. He's one of the best things about Eurovision.
You see the first votes already. May we have the top votes, please?
Seems a reckless place to stand.
Hello Europe, hello Vienna.
Just the one for Italy
Thank you so
here.
much. It was a great show and I so want to be there. But well...
That restraining order.
It's hilarious.
I think he did as much as he could. I wasn't too sure on his direction. It felt like somebody had given him directions like over the phone and then just kind of went, right, we'll just shoot it.
Which is annoying because I know he can act, I know he's good, he's a presence, that's why he's always presenting, but it's like, it just didn't come across as that. It didn't stand out for me, which I thought when he's finally on screen I was going to be like, oh my god, it's Graham Norton, but I didn't feel excited by that at all.
Yeah, when like the wheel falls off the stage and everything like starts getting on fire and he just responds with, well, that was terrible. Like,
I know.
it would have been, if that happened at Eurovision, he would be all over that. I'd be screaming down the microphone.
Yeah. That's what was annoying about it. But what you were saying about the opening song they do, they were the best costumes they had in the whole film. They didn't scale up. Like, I know he has that wheel thing, but like, it just didn't feel like proper Eurovision. It didn't feel like they scaled up in the film.
The first bit definitely felt like the music video to the single that would go to Eurovision, but I understand what you mean. I mean, the whole idea of Eurovision and stuff is like supposed to be eccentric. You know, you've got Lemtov singing like, was it Lion Love?
Oh yeah, Lion. Yeah, I think it was Lion.
Love like a lion, or whatever you want to call it. Lion of love! But then, you know, when Fire Saga get on stage, they've got like a hamster wheel that he's running on for no reason.
Yeah,
which
and
I
she's
guess
just
is
wearing like a blue dress. It wasn't flamboyant enough for me to be like, yeah, that's a Eurovision. For me, it was trying to be the underdog story. You've got Iceland who have never won. You're following them and you're meant to be like, yeah, at the end, like, I want them to win. I want this to happen. But when you've got a character like Lars, it's like, I didn't root for him. And that completely ruins the whole point of the film, which is what you want from a Eurovision film. Yeah, you want to have the person you root for.
I think they should have gave Lars definitely some more retribution because he does do some shitty things to Secret. Especially with how good that Rachel McAdams plays her role. I don't think you could ever have a bad thing to say about Secret as a character sort of thing. She like outshone.
She really carried the film, which is why I thought it was about 3/4 of the way through, I thought, we don't really need Will Ferrell in this film. I was like, I want to watch her, I don't want to watch him.
Maybe if he was like the kooky tall manager and had like more of a directive role. I mean, like he's already the writer of the film.
If he had been
if he'd been the villain?
That's what I was about to say. If he had been the another contestant against her, that would have been better because she would have been the quiet underdog who finds her voice and then wins in the end. I guess the message in the end was, follow your dreams, but then if you're not actually that bothered, come back home.
Come back home. Remember, all your dreams die.
Yeah, I don't really get that. It's like, I know a lot of Eurovision is like being proud of your country and wanting to win for your country.
But then they came home and never pursued a career in stardom, and they just were happy with performing in their local pub. And then it seems like they have a kid, which they finessed those incest jokes they were putting in from the start and just kind of went straight through that. Like when they ended up kissing on TV and Lars's dad and Secret's mum is there and they're finally like reconnecting and stuff. When they saw that on TV, I thought that was going to be a funny joke where they're like, oh no, don't kiss each other, like because they're secretly brother and sister or something like that.
Overall, I did really like it. I had a good time with it. I laughed quite a lot at some of the jokes. I feel like I didn't buy into the underdog story, which was a bit of a shame, but Rachel McAdams was amazing. Dan Stevens, hilarious. I don't know, they could have just wrote it a little bit tighter, left out some of the little plots that they didn't need. The romance they didn't need for me to feel anything from the film. They could have just ended it with they love Iceland and they went home again. They didn't need the romance. But overall, I did enjoy it.
I enjoyed it too. I don't think that I was expecting too much of a film that would be centered around Eurovision, so I was pleased that I got some enjoyment out of it. I didn't really find it as funny as I thought it was going to be. It just kind of like hit me on the nose as a typical feral comedy, but some of the performances from one of the leads, Rachel McAdams, and especially some of the bit part players did actually give me like quite a good chuckle. Like all the lighting teams and stuff, like all the small things that he said gave me more laughs than Will Ferrell did in the film. But in and all of itself, I thought that the film was a nice little feel-good film, and I think fans of Eurovision will get quite a bit of enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, it definitely made me want to watch Eurovision.
Yeah, it made me want to do it as well.
I think I'll definitely be listening to the songs as well. Overall, I did enjoy it. I'd probably give it 7 Dan Stevens naked Greek statues out of 10.
I thought it was good. Fans of Eurovision will definitely enjoy it. I'll probably give it 6 really long scarves out of 10. Yeah, I'm looking forward to showing my dad it. My dad really loves Eurovision.
There are some people who absolutely love it and watch it every single year.
I don't understand. I mean, like, I like it, but my dad's like every year in the armchair just
by himself, just cracking open a
hoping
can.
for that, 12 points one year, 10 stars one year.